Welcome to the Essence of the Soul, a journey through spiritual awakening and personal transformation, written by Mindful Literary. I'm your guide on this transformative journey, and together, we will explore the depths of spirituality, the wisdom of the soul, and the path to personal greatness. Whether you're seeking to connect with your inner child, embrace the lessons of life, or find your true self, this audiobook is designed to be your companion and source of inspiration. In this book, we'll embark on a heartfelt exploration of spiritual practices, mindfulness, gratitude, and resilience. We'll delve into the healing power of forgiveness, the tranquility of inner peace, and the strength found in balancing the mind, body, and spirit. Each chapter is crafted to provide insights, practical advice, and reflective moments that will help you uncover the essence of your soul. You'll hear personal anecdotes, ancient wisdom, and modern perspectives, all woven together to illuminate the path to spiritual awakening. As you listen, you'll find guidance on nurturing your inner child, embracing the unknown, and connecting with higher consciousness. This journey is not just about understanding spirituality, but living it fully, with intention and grace. So, find a comfortable space, take a deep breath, and prepare to embark on a journey of discovery and transformation. Together, let's unlock the profound potential within and embrace the essence of the soul. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's begin. Chapter 1: Discovering Spirituality. Connecting with my inner child. Childhood is a time where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual blur. I remember vividly the days when the simplest things like finding a shiny rock or watching clouds form shapes filled me with awe. These moments weren't just whimsical, they were deeply spiritual, even if I didn't realize it back then. Tapping back into that sense of wonder has become a cornerstone of my spiritual journey. When I allow myself to see the world with the same innocence and curiosity, my spiritual practices deepen immeasurably. I feel more connected, not just to the world around me, but to a higher power that seems to communicate through these small, magical moments. Embracing my inner child has also been profoundly healing. As adults, we often get caught up in responsibilities and stress, forgetting the joy of simply being present. I realized that my inner child had been crying out for attention, for the freedom to express joy, sadness, and curiosity without judgment. By acknowledging this part of myself, I found a new way to heal emotional wounds I had carried silently for years. This process has made me more empathetic and gentle with myself, allowing me to approach my spiritual practices with a sense of playfulness rather than obligation. One practical way I've reconnected with my inner child is through daily rituals that incorporate elements of play. This could be as simple as doodling in a journal, dancing like no one is watching, or spending time in nature without an agenda. Each of these activities serves as a reminder that spirituality isn't separate from these moments, it's deeply intertwined. By treating my inner child with love and respect, I've unlocked a transformative power that has rippled through every aspect of my life. It's a reminder that the wisdom and joy we seek externally often reside within us, waiting to be acknowledged. A practical tip is to set aside just a few minutes each day to do something purely for the joy of it, without any expectations or goals. This could be as simple as blowing bubbles, coloring in a mandala, or lying on the grass and observing the clouds. Such practices can serve as a bridge connecting us to a deeper sense of spirituality and self-awareness, making each day a little more magical. Realizing the power of spirituality in my life. Growing up, I always sensed that there was something more to life than what we see and hear. I remember having conversations with my grandmother about her unwavering faith and the peace it brought her. These discussions left a profound impression on me, planting the seeds of curiosity and wonder about the nature of spirituality. As I observed the way she approached challenges with grace and acceptance, I realized that spirituality wasn't merely a belief system, but an unfaltering source of inner strength. As I journeyed through adolescence, I noticed how spirituality influenced not just my mindset, but also my interactions and decisions. Understanding that there was a bigger picture gave my life a new dimension. It felt as if I had an invisible guide steering me through life's ups and downs, providing a sense of meaning to experiences that otherwise seemed random or hard to comprehend. Engaging in meditation and reflective practices helped me connect deeper with my own sense of spirituality, underpinning my actions with intentionality rather than impulsiveness. This growing awareness added layers of purpose and fulfillment to my daily existence. Simple moments took on deeper significance, whether it was enjoying a quiet morning walk or helping a friend in need. These moments became expressions of a deeper truth, an interconnectedness that I felt with everything around me. My spiritual practices began to resonate with lessons from psychology and wisdom traditions, emphasizing the importance of presence, compassion, and mindfulness. These practices not only enriched my private life, but also empowered me to be more authentic and engaged in my community, leading to a richer, more meaningful life. Exploring different spiritual practices. Diving into various spiritual practices to find the ones that resonate with my soul can be a transformative journey. As a child, I was always curious about the invisible threads connecting us to something greater. I remember spending hours in the backyard, lying on the grass, staring up at the sky, and feeling a sense of peace that was almost otherworldly. This innate curiosity stayed with me as I grew older, leading me to explore different spiritual paths in search of that same sense of tranquility and connection. One of the first practices I delved into was meditation. It's astounding how something as simple as focusing on your breath can change your life. Meditation taught me to quiet my mind and listen to my inner self, revealing layers of wisdom I didn't know existed. This practice opened doors to deeper introspection and a heightened state of awareness, which significantly impacted my emotional and psychological well-being. Next, I ventured into the world of yoga. This practice offered not just physical benefits, but also a spiritual and mental equilibrium that felt profoundly nurturing. Each pose, each controlled breath, brought me closer to understanding my body's connection to my mind and spirit. Yoga became a moving meditation for me, providing clarity and a deeper connection to my inner self, much like the peace I found as a child gazing up at the sky. Understanding the unique benefits and applications of different spiritual practices became crucial as I explored further. Different practices tend to offer varied benefits. For example, while meditation helped me cultivate inner peace and mindfulness, yoga enhanced my physical and mental harmony. I also experimented with practices like Reiki and Tai Chi. Reiki's energy healing offered relief from stress and emotional blockages, accentuating the subtle energies within and around us. Tai Chi, with its gentle, flowing movements, improved my physical balance and instilled a sense of graceful presence that permeated my daily life. The more I immersed myself in these practices, the more I realized that spirituality is not one size fits all. What resonates with my soul might not have the same effect on someone else. It's about finding that unique practice or amalgamation of practices that helps you feel connected, centered, and at peace. Exploring different spiritual paths has taught me the importance of being open-minded and patient, as the journey to finding what truly resonates can be an ongoing process. Chapter 2: The Wisdom of the Soul. Learning from life experiences. Growing up, I often found myself puzzled by the complexities of life. As a child, the world seemed like an ever-expanding playground, showing me new wonders each day. One memory stands out vividly: a neighbor's garden filled with radiant flowers, each more vibrant than the last. Initially, I didn't understand why some flowers, although nurtured under the same conditions, grew differently. It evoked curiosity and a realization that unique experiences shape individual growth. This curiosity about nature's lessons extended into my spiritual journey later in life. Times of joy interspersed with challenges have provided rich soil for my personal growth. Reflecting on my adolescence, I recall days of carefree laughter contrasted with moments of profound sadness. The contrast didn't negate the good times, but added depth to my understanding of happiness. These were the early seeds of wisdom. Each experience, no matter how conflicting, brought a new perspective. For instance, making peace with a childhood friend after a misunderstanding taught me the value of forgiveness and the power of empathy. As I navigated through high school and beyond, every triumph and hurdle contributed to a growing repository of personal insights. Life's challenges often come unannounced, leaving one to glean lessons from unexpected places. Remembering my first failure, a botched school project, was a pivotal teaching moment. I initially saw it as a setback, but it sparked a keen interest in learning and resilience. Embracing such experiences taught me an essential spiritual lesson: that every event, pleasant or painful, holds a treasure of wisdom. It was through these adversities that I developed mental fortitude and a nuanced understanding of human psychology. Life, I've learned, continually offers opportunities to evolve through reflection and adaptation. Seeking wisdom in ancient teachings. From a young age, I found myself drawn to stories and lessons that seemed to transcend time. Grandma had a weathered old book, its pages filled with teachings passed down through generations. Each night, before bedtime, she would read me a story, and I'd soak up the ancient wisdom like a sponge. Whether it was a parable of Buddhist monks or tales of Egyptian gods, every story had a hidden nugget of wisdom that I couldn't help but ponder over. As I grew older, my curiosity led me to explore beyond Grandma's book, delving into the depths of various cultures and their timeless teachings. The insights from these ancient traditions often align with modern psychological principles. Take, for instance, the concept of mindfulness in Buddhism. It's fascinating how this age-old practice of being present and fully engaged in the moment has found its place in contemporary mental health advice. Despite the difference in context, the core essence of staying mindful remains relevant. I remember my first experience with mindfulness. It was like waking up from a long, unrealized slumber. Suddenly, the mundane became profound, and every moment carried a deeper significance. Another example comes from the Stoic philosophies of ancient Greece. The teachings of Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius emphasize resilience, acceptance, and inner strength, values that resonate deeply, especially in today's fast-paced world. These philosophies taught me the importance of focusing on what I can control and letting go of the rest. I practiced this when dealing with personal setbacks, and it offered a profound sense of peace, enabling me to face challenges head-on without being overwhelmed. The wisdom housed in these ancient teachings seems to have a unique way of speaking to our modern dilemmas. Whether it's the simplicity advocated by Confucius or the harmony with nature taught by Native American traditions, each offers valuable lessons. Confucius' principle of personal virtue and communal harmony, for instance, provided guidance on living a balanced and ethical life. When I applied these teachings to my interactions with others, I noticed a shift not just in my behavior, but in my overall sense of satisfaction and peace. There's a profound sense of interconnectedness when studying these ancient teachings. They traverse different cultures and spiritual paths, yet they share a common thread of wisdom that speaks to our shared human experience. Whether we are grappling with the complexities of modern life or seeking deeper meaning, these ancient nuggets of wisdom remain a guiding star. One practical tip: next time you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to be mindful. Practice deep breathing exercises inspired by ancient yogic traditions or recite a mantra that resonates with you. These timeless practices can ground you, offering clarity and a renewed sense of purpose. Embracing the lessons of suffering. Life has a way of throwing curveballs our way, testing our resilience through adversities and suffering. In my childhood, I faced considerable challenges that often left me questioning my path. Yet, it was through these hardships that I stumbled upon profound meaning and growth. Facing adversity is a universal human experience, and it forces us to dig deep within ourselves to find the courage and strength we didn't know we possessed. Spirituality played a pivotal role in my journey. As a child, I was introduced to spiritual teachings that revolved around the idea that suffering exists for a higher purpose. This perspective helped me navigate through painful experiences, transforming them into opportunities for growth. Wisdom from various spiritual traditions suggests that life's difficulties are not mere punishments or random occurrences, but are infused with lessons to guide us towards a more enlightened understanding of our own existence. From a psychological standpoint, embracing suffering can be transformative. When we accept our challenges rather than resisting them, we open ourselves to the possibility of growth. The process of transcending personal challenges starts with acknowledging our pain. This self-awareness is critical. By understanding that pain and suffering are integral to the human condition, we can reframe our experiences to focus on personal development. The practice of mindfulness, for example, helps us stay present and aware, allowing us to experience our emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. This approach turns suffering into a teacher, guiding us to a higher state of consciousness. To bring this into everyday practice, consider starting a journal to document your adversities and the lessons you learn from them. Reflect on how these experiences shape your character and influence your decisions. This simple act can help shift your perspective, enabling you to see suffering not as a setback, but as a catalyst for growth and inner wisdom. Chapter 3: The Journey of Self-Discovery. Reflecting on my early childhood memories. As I think back to my early childhood, I see a landscape rich with emotional moments and formative experiences. One vivid memory I have is of a summer afternoon spent in my grandmother's garden. The scent of blooming jasmine filled the air, and my youthful mind wandered freely under the warmth of the sun. These afternoons brought me a sense of peace and wonder, stirring an unknown spiritual longing within me. It was more than just playtime. It was an early encounter with the divine simplicity of nature. My grandmother often spoke of the interconnectedness of all life, subtly weaving threads of spirituality into my formative years. Such memories remind me of the purity and authenticity that childhood inherently holds, often unnoticed at the time but powerful upon reflection. Revisiting these experiences, I stumble upon parts of myself that were once innocent and uncolored by societal expectations. My natural curiosity and desire to understand the world around me, be it through exploring the forests behind our house or asking incessant questions, were, in a way, early stirrings of my spiritual quest. I recall the joy of discovering a bird's nest, the thrill mixed with a sense of responsibility when I carefully observed it, knowing that life was fragile but immensely valuable. These moments were not just parts of my childhood, they were foundational blocks in my spiritual journey, teaching me about mindfulness, compassion, and reverence for life. The childlike wonder and open-heartedness that I experienced back then continue to serve as guiding lights in my present-day spiritual practices. Understanding these memories in the context of my spiritual growth unveils layers of my authentic self. The formative years, marked by simplicity and genuine interactions, are crucial as they reflect the most unadulterated version of who we are. It was a time when my reactions were instinctual and my desires pure, unmoved by the constructs of adulthood. Recognizing how these early experiences shaped my existing beliefs and values helps me reconnect with my true self. By reflecting on those innocent years, I gain insights into the fundamental aspects of my spirit that have remained constant despite life's challenges and changes. This awareness is both grounding and enlightening, offering wisdom that was always there but required the lens of maturity and spirituality to truly appreciate. Understanding the impact of upbringing on spirituality. As I look back on my upbringing, I realize how profoundly it shaped my spiritual perspective. Growing up, my family placed a strong emphasis on community and shared rituals. Sundays were dedicated to family gatherings, where stories of faith and ancestral teachings were passed down. These moments were more than just traditions. they were opportunities to connect with a deeper sense of belonging and purpose. The consistency of these practices instilled in me a foundation of spirituality, where the sacredness of life's moments became evident. My beliefs, molded by my early environment, were a tapestry woven from the teachings of my elders and the experiences that marked my childhood. I remember sitting at my grandmother's feet, listening to her recount tales of resilience and divine guidance. These stories were not merely anecdotes, they were lessons in faith and the human spirit's capacity to endure. Such narratives built a bridge between the worldly and the spiritual, making the abstract feel tangible. I began to see spirituality not as a distant, unattainable concept, but as something living and breathing within everyday experiences. However, as I grew older, I encountered different perspectives and ideologies that challenged my childhood beliefs. Each new experience provided an opportunity to reevaluate and, at times, reconcile these earlier influences with my evolving understanding of spirituality. It became clear that true spiritual growth involves a continuous process of reflection and integration, rather than rigid adherence to inherited beliefs. By understanding and recognizing the importance of my upbringing, I was able to appreciate the foundational values it provided, while also allowing myself the freedom to explore and adapt new spiritual insights. Finding my true self through meditation. One of my earliest memories involved sitting by a small stream behind my childhood home, feeling an inexplicable sense of connection with everything around me. As I listened to the babbling water and the rustling leaves, I experienced a peace that seemed to transcend my understanding. Later in life, I discovered that this state of being is often accessible through the practice of meditation. Meditation became my gateway to self-discovery and inner exploration. The practice allowed me to dive deep into the layers of my consciousness, where my true essence resided. Initially, I wrestled with the usual distractions, racing thoughts and the demands of everyday life. But as I continued to sit quietly and focus on my breath, I began to peel back the superficial layers of my identity. This process revealed innate qualities and desires, highlighting aspects of myself that I had long neglected in the hustle and bustle of adulthood. Through consistent meditation practice, I started to reconnect with the essence of my being. Each session became a journey inward, where I could observe my thoughts and emotions without judgment. Sometimes, vivid memories from my childhood came flooding back, reminding me of who I was before life's numerous influences and expectations took hold. These meditative moments offered clarity and helped me reconcile with parts of myself that I had forgotten or suppressed over the years. The intersection of spirituality and psychology in meditation is profound. By focusing attention inward, I delved into the spiritual notion of unity and interconnectedness, which balanced my understanding of the mind through psychological principles. This blend enriched my perspective, offering wisdom that could only be attained from within. I realized that my true self wasn't just a singular, static identity, but a dynamic being capable of growth, compassion, and deep awareness. One practical tip for those just starting meditation is to remain patient. The journey towards self-discovery takes time and perseverance. Begin with just a few minutes each day, focusing on the breath or a simple mantra. As these moments of quiet introspection become more comfortable, gradually extend the duration of your practice. Over time, these small efforts compound, guiding you ever closer to understanding your truest self. Chapter 4. Nurturing the Inner Child. Healing Childhood Wounds. My childhood, like that of many others, was speckled with moments of joy and pain. It's surprising how vividly certain memories resurface, carrying the weight of emotions I've tried to bury. These emotional wounds and traumas, no matter how old, continue to shape our lives if left unattended. I began by acknowledging these memories, sometimes painful to revisit, but crucial to healing. Recognizing that these moments are components of our life's tapestry is a step toward self-compassion. I remember a specific instance that haunted me for years, an argument with a parent that left me feeling insignificant. Realizing how that moment influenced my adult reactions was enlightening. Naming the trauma, writing about it, and even sharing it with a trusted friend or therapist made a huge difference. It was as though a fog had lifted. The next phase was embracing healing practices to nurture and heal my inner child. Meditation became a cornerstone of my healing journey. Every time I meditated, I visualized my younger self, offering love and forgiveness to the moments that were hurtful. This visualization wasn't perfect every time, and there were days when revisiting these memories brought tears, but over time, the wounds began to feel less raw. Spirituality played a substantial role. Embracing spiritual texts and affirmations that resonated with my experiences became daily rituals. Journaling, too, brought immense clarity. Every morning, I would write down positive affirmations or recount happy memories that highlighted my worth and growth. A particularly powerful practice was reconnecting with hobbies and activities that brought me joy as a child. Painting, reading, even playing a musical instrument, these simple joys helped bridge the gap between my wounded inner child and the adult I am today. It reminded me that healing isn't linear, it's a journey full of overlapping steps. By giving myself permission to explore and enjoy these activities, I found a reservoir of inner strength and happiness, which I might have forgotten had it not been for revisiting my past with compassion and intention. Cultivating self-love and acceptance. The journey to learning to love and accept myself fully didn't happen overnight. Growing up, I believed that love and acceptance were things to be earned through achievements, good behavior, and pleasing others. But, as I navigated the twists and turns of adulthood, I began to realize how flawed this perception was. I remember, as a child, feeling a constant pressure to be perfect. This pressure often came from external sources like school performance, sports, and peer interactions. However, there was a more persistent and subtle pressure from within, which was the hardest to shake off. It wasn't until I delved into spirituality that I started to understand the deeper meanings of love and acceptance. Spiritual teachings emphasize the importance of looking beyond the physical and material aspects of life. I began to see that true self-love comes from acknowledging that I am inherently valuable, not because of what I achieve, but simply because I exist. This realization was both liberating and daunting. Letting go of the need to prove myself required a complete overhaul of my mindset. I found that practicing self-compassion was incredibly important. There were moments when my past failures or shortcomings would bubble up, threatening to drown my newfound sense of worth. During these times, I turned to wisdom shared by spiritual leaders and modern psychologists alike, who echoed the same sentiment. Embracing my imperfections is part of the human experience. I began to treat myself with the same kindness and understanding that I would offer a loved one. When negative thoughts crept in, I challenged them and replaced them with affirmations of self-worth. One practical tip that has helped me immensely is to maintain a daily journal. In this journal, I write down positive affirmations and reflect on the day's experiences. By anchoring my thoughts and feelings in words, I find it easier to navigate my emotional landscape. This practice not only reinforces self-compassion, but also serves as a reminder of my continual growth and inherent worthiness. Embracing playfulness and joy. In my journey to rediscover the joy and wonder of life, I found cultivating a playful spirit fundamental. Childhood memories often come to mind, times of carefree laughter and endless imagination. Back then, everything seemed possible. It wasn't just about the games we played, it was the mindset that turned the ordinary into the extraordinary. As adults, we often lose touch with that playful essence, buried under responsibilities and societal expectations. Embracing playfulness doesn't mean neglecting duties, it means integrating a sense of wonder into our daily lives. By doing so, we reconnect with our innate spirituality that values joy as a sacred gift. In exploring ways to infuse playfulness into daily life, I started small. It could be something as simple as turning mundane chores into a game or finding humor in unexpected places. This practice began a profound change in my perception. I realized that playfulness is an attitude, a choice we can make every day. It's about engaging with life with the same curiosity and excitement we once had as children. From a psychological perspective, this shift can enhance our well-being, reducing stress and increasing our overall happiness. This simple act of choosing joy is a powerful affirmation of life. Connecting with our inner joy is closely related to remembering the wisdom of our younger selves. As children, our days were filled with wonder, every experience a new discovery. This spirit of adventure is still within us, waiting to be rekindled. Spiritual practices such as mindfulness or meditation can help us tap into this dormant joy, reminding us of our early years of unbounded enthusiasm. Allowing ourselves moments of unstructured time, where we can let our minds wander and our hearts lead, can reignite that spark. The intersection of psychology and spirituality here is crucial. Both fields recognize the importance of play and joy in leading a fulfilled life. Chapter 5: Spiritual Awakening. Recognizing the signs of spiritual awakening. When I first started noticing the subtle changes within myself, I couldn't quite put my finger on what was happening. It felt like a veil was lifted, revealing a clearer, more vibrant world. One of the most telling signs that I was going through a spiritual awakening was a profound sense of connection to myself, others, and the universe. I would walk in the park and feel a deep bond with the trees, the birds, and even the wind. This newfound connection wasn't just outside, it was also an inner alignment, a coming home to my true self. Heightened awareness was another significant indicator. I began to notice synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that seemed too perfect to be random. For example, thinking of an old friend and then receiving a message from them out of the blue. These experiences made me feel like the universe was communicating with me, guiding me along my path. This period was also characterized by intense introspection. I found myself asking existential questions about life, purpose, and my place in the world. This soul-searching was often accompanied by a thirst for spiritual knowledge, leading me to books, podcasts, and teachings that provided comfort and guidance. Emotional fluctuations were prevalent too. Some days were filled with overwhelming joy for no apparent reason, while others brought inexplicable sadness. These emotional cycles taught me to embrace all feelings without judgment, understanding that they were part of the shedding process, the old to make way for the new. Friends and family might have noticed changes in my behavior. I became more empathetic, listening deeply and responding with compassion. This wasn't a forced change but a natural shift in perspective as I saw the interconnectedness of all beings. Physical sensations can also accompany a spiritual awakening. For me, it was tingling sensations and an unusual sensitivity to energy. Being in certain environments or around specific people felt different, as if I could sense vibrations and auras. Moreover, my dreams became more vivid and often included symbolic messages that resonated with my waking life. Keeping a dream journal helped me decode these nocturnal insights, providing valuable clues to my spiritual journey. As we navigate this transformative journey, it's important to be patient and gentle with ourselves. Spiritual awakening can be overwhelming, but it's also a time of immense growth and discovery. One practical tip I found helpful was to engage in daily meditation. It creates a sanctuary within, a space where we can reconnect with our inner wisdom and find peace amidst the turbulence. Knowing that these experiences are not only normal, but also a universal part of spiritual growth, can provide a comforting sense of community and belonging. Embracing the transformation journey. Embarking on a journey of spiritual awakening is like stepping into a new world, where the familiar gradually unravels, making space for deeper understanding and profound changes. The shifts that accompany this journey can feel both exhilarating and daunting. The changes are not just external. They often manifest as internal upheavals that challenge long-held beliefs and ways of being. These shifts can bring about a sense of disorientation, but they also open the door to a richer, more meaningful existence. I remember being a child with an insatiable curiosity about the world around me. There was a sense of wonder, a feeling that the world was full of unseen magic. This childhood curiosity can be a powerful guide during a spiritual awakening. It encourages us to look beyond the surface, to question the status quo, and to explore the depths of our own consciousness. Spiritual awakening often brings us back to that childhood sense of wonder, but with the added layer of adult understanding and wisdom. The journey of spiritual evolution is not a linear path. It is a spiral of growth, where each step forward is followed by a period of integration. This process requires intention and grace. We must be intentional in our practices, whether it's meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature. These practices help us to ground our experiences and to make sense of the changes we are going through. Grace, on the other hand, allows us to be gentle with ourselves. It reminds us that it's okay to feel confused and to not have all the answers. Spiritual transformation involves integrating new insights and wisdom into our everyday lives. This integration process can be likened to weaving a tapestry. Each new thread of understanding must be carefully woven into the fabric of our existing beliefs and experiences. This can be a delicate process, requiring patience and self-compassion. Psychological tools and techniques, such as mindfulness and cognitive reframing, can be incredibly helpful during this time. They allow us to navigate our inner landscape with greater ease and to transform old patterns of thinking and behavior. A practical tip for anyone on this journey is to keep a journal. Write down your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This simple practice can provide clarity and insight, helping you to track your progress and to recognize patterns in your spiritual growth. It can also serve as a comforting reminder of how far you've come, especially during challenging times. Connecting with the divine within. From a young age, I felt a pull towards something greater within me. It was as if a tiny spark, hidden deep inside, was waiting to be kindled. Growing up in a household where spirituality was more about ritual than personal connection, I initially struggled to understand this inner call. Yet, there were moments, usually in the quiet solitude of a summer evening or during a long walk in the woods, where I sensed a profound, almost tangible presence. This was the beginning of my journey toward developing a deep and personal connection with the divine essence within me. One of the first practices that truly facilitated this connection was meditation. Sitting in silence, focusing on my breath, and gradually silencing the incessant chatter of my mind allowed me to tap into deeper layers of consciousness. It wasn't easy at first. The mind resists silence. But with time, I discovered that in those rare, quiet moments, a wave of tranquility would wash over me, and I felt closer to my inner divinity. Another practice that profoundly impacted my spiritual journey was journaling. Each morning, I would dedicate a few minutes to writing down my thoughts, experiences, and feelings. Over time, this simple act of putting pen to paper began to reveal patterns and insights that I hadn't consciously acknowledged. It was as if my innermost wisdom was speaking to me through these words, guiding me towards a deeper understanding of myself and my connection to the divine. Delving into ancient wisdom traditions and spiritual teachings also played a crucial role. Reading sacred texts, attending seminars, and learning from spiritual mentors provided new perspectives and techniques to deepen my inner connection. Psychology, too, came into play, as understanding the workings of the mind gave me tools to overcome mental blocks and embrace my spiritual essence more fully. For anyone on a similar path, cultivating self-awareness is incredibly powerful. Start by paying attention to the subtle nudges and profound moments of stillness you encounter. Allow yourself to explore various practices such as meditation, journaling, and learning from spiritual teachings that resonate with you. Remember, the divine essence you seek is already within you, waiting patiently for you to recognize and nurture it. With each step taken on this path, you'll find yourself more deeply connected to the divine within. Chapter 6: Psychology of Spirituality. Understanding the mind-body-spirit connection. When I was a child, I often found myself lost in the woods near my house, my thoughts drifting as freely as the leaves in the wind. Back then, I didn't realize that these solitary moments were the beginning of my spiritual journey, a fundamental step toward understanding the deep relationship between the mind, body, and spirit. It is in these quiet moments of reflection that we start to notice the profound connection between our thoughts, our physical well-being, and our inner self. As I grew older and started exploring spirituality seriously, I discovered that true spiritual growth could not be achieved by focusing on just one aspect of our being. Spirituality is not merely a mental exercise confined to meditation or prayers, it encompasses our entire existence. The mind, body, and spirit function as a seamless entity where each part influences the others in subtle yet significant ways. For instance, I noticed that when I engaged in regular physical activities like yoga or dancing, my mind felt clearer and more focused. The physical movement seemed to unclog my mental blocks, leading to moments of spiritual insight and clarity. Psychology also helped me understand that many of our physical ailments often have roots in unresolved emotional issues. This realization made me appreciate the significance of holistic well-being. Maintaining a healthy balance in life through proper nutrition, exercise, and mental health care doesn't just keep our bodies fit, it lays a solid foundation for spiritual enrichment. When I started paying more attention to what I ate, I felt more in tune with my body's needs, which in turn influenced my mental state. A well-nourished body can lead to a calm mind, and a calm mind can open pathways to deeper spiritual experiences. Through various life events, I have come to believe that neglecting any aspect of the mind-body-spirit connection could lead to a sense of unfulfillment. Real spiritual growth happens when we start recognizing how intertwined these aspects are. For example, practicing mindfulness has shown me the importance of being present in the moment. When my mind is cluttered with worries, it manifests as physical tension and disrupts my spiritual peace. But when I take time to meditate or simply sit quietly, I can feel the relaxation in my body and a sense of spiritual calmness that flows through me. Incorporating practices that strengthen all three aspects is crucial for holistic well-being. Simple habits like spending time in nature, creating a regular exercise routine, and practicing gratitude can have profound impacts on our spiritual journey. These practices remind us that our physical health, mental clarity, and spiritual depth are not isolated phenomena, but parts of a greater whole. To explore the mind-body-spirit connection effectively, start small. Pay attention to how different activities make you feel, both physically and mentally. Notice the spiritual insights that follow. Over time, you will see how interconnected these parts of our being truly are, bringing a richer, more fulfilling perspective to your spiritual growth. Exploring the intersection of psychology and spirituality. Throughout childhood, we often get glimpses of something beyond the physical world. These moments, whether fleeting or profound, are windows into a deeper part of ourselves that many of us later come to recognize as our spirituality. Meanwhile, the principles of psychology provide a structured way to understand the mind and behavior, often giving us tools to navigate and interpret these spiritual experiences. One principle from psychology that aligns closely with spirituality is the concept of self-actualization, introduced by Abraham Maslow. Maslow's hierarchy of needs suggests that once our basic needs are met, we seek personal growth and self-transcendence, which are deeply spiritual pursuits. Reflecting on my own journey, I remember moments from my childhood where simple acts such as gazing at the stars or listening to an older relative's stories seemed to stir something profound within me. It wasn't until much later that I realized these experiences were helping me to connect with my spiritual self. Psychological insights can significantly enhance our spiritual development and self-awareness. Take mindfulness, for example. Rooted in ancient spiritual practices, mindfulness is now widely recognized in psychological therapy as a means to calm the mind and foster self-awareness. Personally, it wasn't until I started practicing mindfulness that I began to notice the automatic thoughts and patterns that influenced my behavior. This awareness opened up a pathway to deeper spiritual practices, allowing me to approach life with a new level of presence and intention. Understanding the intersection between psychology and spirituality can lead to profound personal insights and growth. We can use psychological tools to not just heal or cope with life's challenges, but also to enrich our spiritual journey. By integrating these disciplines, we create a more holistic approach to self-exploration, one that honors both the scientific and the mystical aspects of our existence. Healing psychological wounds through spiritual practices. Growing up, I was enveloped in a cloud of confusion and emotional turmoil. We all have our scars from childhood, some visible, others deeply buried in our psyche. For a long time, I sought answers and comfort in different ways, but it wasn't until I discovered spiritual practices that I found meaningful healing. Spirituality became a sanctuary, offering me tools to mend the psychological wounds that therapy alone couldn't touch. Each person's path to spirituality is unique, but for me, it started with meditation. Sitting quietly with my thoughts helped me become aware of the internal dialogue that constantly played in my mind, directing me to revisit painful memories from years ago. The more I meditated, the more I could separate my true self from the voice of past traumas. This practice provided a sense of detachment and clarity, allowing me to address unresolved issues without the intense emotional charge. My journey also took me to the practice of mindfulness. Paying attention to the present moment without judgment became a powerful tool for dealing with anxiety and depression. Childhood memories often triggered feelings of inadequacy and shame, emotions that followed me into adulthood. By practicing mindfulness, I learned to accept those feelings without letting them define me. It brought an element of grace and self-compassion into my healing process. Through consistent practice, I noticed a significant shift in how I responded to emotional triggers. What once would spiral into a bout of depression became more manageable as I learned to remain present and grounded. Prayer and connection to a higher power played a crucial role in my healing. While religion was a contentious topic in my childhood home, finding a spiritual path that resonated with me brought immense peace. Prayer wasn't about asking for intervention, but rather about establishing a relationship with something greater than myself. It instilled a sense of purpose and belonging, diminishing the loneliness and isolation that stemmed from my past. Engaging in these practices created a supportive spiritual framework that gave me strength during tough moments. Exploring the intersection of spirituality and psychology, through books and workshops, deepened my understanding and fortified my healing journey. I came across teachings that emphasized the power of forgiveness, both for others and myself. Carrying the weight of grudges and unresolved anger was detrimental to my mental health. Learning to forgive was liberating, providing relief from the burdens that shackled my heart and mind. One particularly transformative lesson was recognizing that the child within me still needed care and love. I visualized comforting my younger self, assuring them that they were safe and cherished. This inner child work was profoundly healing. It helped reframe entrenched negative beliefs and fostered a nurturing inner dialogue that encouraged self-acceptance and healing. If you're navigating emotional and psychological wounds, consider exploring spiritual practices like meditation, mindfulness, and prayer. Engage with literature that speaks to your soul and connects with communities on similar paths. Healing is multilayered and, often, integrating spirituality can add depth to your journey, providing transformative tools that touch the very essence of your being. Chapter 7: Mindfulness and Meditation. Practicing mindfulness for inner peace. Growing up, life felt like a whirlwind of constant activity and noise, always something to do, places to be, and thoughts racing through my mind. It wasn't until much later that I discovered the transformative power of mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't just a practice. It's a state of being where you cultivate a profound sense of inner peace and serenity. It invites you to become fully present, allowing you to step back from the chaos and observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Mindfulness for me began with simple breathing exercises, grounding myself in the present moment by paying attention to my breath. Just sitting quietly, focusing on each inhalation and exhalation, feeling the air fill my lungs and then release, helped me connect with a deeper sense of calmness. These moments of tranquility started small, but grew into a habit. They became a refuge, a safe space where I could find peace amidst the storms of everyday life. What I found fascinating was the profound shift in my perspective. The more I practiced, the more I noticed how often my mind would wander into the past with regret or into the future with anxiety. Mindfulness taught me to observe these distractions without getting entangled in them. Imagine standing by a river, watching leaves float by. Each leaf represents a thought or distraction. Instead of grabbing at them, you just let them pass. This simple visualization helped me immensely in letting go of distractions and staying anchored in the present. One of the most fulfilling aspects of mindfulness is its ability to enhance everyday experiences. Whether it's enjoying a meal, walking in nature, or even just listening to someone speak, being fully present amplifies the richness of each moment. This practice fosters a sense of gratitude and appreciation for the simple joys in life. It's akin to seeing the world through a child's eyes. Everything feels new, vibrant, and full of wonder. To make mindfulness a part of daily life, start by setting aside a few minutes each day. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. When your mind starts to wander, gently guide it back to your breath without criticism. Over time, these mindful moments can extend into longer periods, eventually becoming a natural part of your routine. Remember, it's not about achieving a perfect state of mind, but cultivating an awareness that brings clarity and tranquility. Exploring various meditation techniques. As I delved into the world of meditation, it was like opening a treasure chest filled with various jewels, each unique and capable of transforming my spiritual journey. Sitting there, cross-legged on the soft carpet of my childhood bedroom, I remembered the serene image of my grandmother chanting softly, her eyes closed, immersed in tranquility. This memory ignited my curiosity about meditation. One of the first techniques I explored was mindfulness meditation. It felt like an introduction to the present moment, allowing me to become acutely aware of my thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. With each breath, I found myself peeling away the layers of stress, becoming more attuned to the simplicity of now. This practice became a cornerstone of my daily life, providing clarity and peace. Next, I ventured into loving-kindness meditation, a practice rooted in ancient Buddhist traditions. This technique involved silently repeating phrases like "May I be happy," "May I be healthy," "May I be free from suffering," and gradually extending these wishes to friends, strangers, and even those with whom I had conflicts. It was like sprinkling drops of compassion over my heart, softening the edges of my soul and nurturing a deep sense of interconnectedness with others. Transcendental meditation intrigued me with its promise of inner calm through the repetition of a personal mantra. This method required me to sit comfortably for about 20 minutes, twice daily, focusing on a specific word or phrase. It created a rhythm that carried me into a state of deep relaxation, almost as if I were floating in a vast, tranquil ocean. This technique not only quieted my turbulent thoughts, but also provided a profound sense of restfulness. Guided meditation, often aided by an instructor's voice or a recording, became another tool in my spiritual toolbox. These sessions often involved vivid visualizations that transported me to peaceful landscapes or helped me confront my inner challenges with a newfound perspective. It felt as if a gentle guide was holding my hand, leading me through the labyrinth of my mind towards the light of awareness and insight. While exploring these techniques, I noticed differences in how each one affected me psychologically. Mindfulness strengthened my focus, loving-kindness expanded my empathy, transcendental practices deepened my relaxation, and guided meditations unlocked my creative potential. Each method offered a unique way to silence the inner noise and enhance my spiritual connection. As I continued my exploration, I learned the importance of patience and consistency. Meditation wasn't about an instant transformation, but rather a gradual unfolding of awareness and inner peace. By dedicating time each day, even if just a few minutes, I discovered that meditation could profoundly influence my approach to life, helping me navigate challenges with grace and wisdom. Living in the present moment. Learning to fully experience and appreciate the present moment has been a journey that began in my childhood. I remember playing in the fields behind my grandfather's house, feeling the earth beneath my bare feet, and being mesmerized by the simple beauty of nature. Those moments, where time seemed to stand still, instilled in me a sense of presence that I didn't fully understand until much later. It's easy to get lost in the busyness of life, letting days slip by in a blur. But when we pause and immerse ourselves in the now, we unlock a treasure trove of peace and clarity. Practicing presence and mindfulness was transformative. It taught me to notice the subtleties of my experiences, the rustling of leaves in the wind, the warmth of the sun on my skin, the sound of my own breath. These little things, often overlooked, hold profound beauty. Delving into spirituality and wisdom, I found that mindfulness practices create a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. Yoga and meditation became key tools in cultivating this awareness, grounding me in the present and fostering a sense of fulfillment and serenity. It's a journey not just of the mind, but also of the heart. Engaging fully with the present moment means embracing our feelings, letting ourselves experience joy and sorrow without judgment. Psychological insights reveal that being present reduces anxiety and enhances psychological well-being. It's fascinating how our brains respond to mindfulness. Neural pathways reshape, leading to better emotional regulation and increased empathy. By committing to live in the now, we're not just enriching our immediate experience, we're also nurturing a more compassionate and connected version of ourselves. Chapter 8. Embracing Gratitude. Cultivating a Gratitude Mindset. Since childhood, I've been curious about the invisible threads that weave the tapestry of our lives. Growing up, I realized that much of my sense of well-being was tied to how I viewed the world around me. Surrounded by family, I felt cherished and valued, which made me appreciate the little moments even more. Tiny joys like my grandmother's stories under the starlit sky or the aroma of freshly baked bread made these everyday instances feel like divine blessings. Developing a mindset of gratitude wasn't just an overnight transformation. It was a nurturing process influenced by spirituality and psychology. I remember being fascinated by the teachings on mindfulness and the power of present moments. Spirituality taught me to see the divine in the mundane, to find sacredness in everyday occurrences. Wisdom from age-old traditions, combined with contemporary psychological insights, made me understand the profound effect gratitude has on our psyche. Gratefulness acts as a lens through which everything else becomes clearer, more vivid, more significant. Recognizing the transformative power of gratitude was like discovering a treasure chest hidden in plain sight. The more I delved into the practice, the more I noticed its ripple effects. Gratitude turned ordinary days into extraordinary ones. It filled my life with joy and uncovered an abundance I didn't know existed. It wasn't that my circumstances dramatically changed, rather, my outlook had a paradigm shift. I found joy in appreciating the now, not fretting about the future or dwelling on the past. The abundant feeling stemmed from recognizing and cherishing the blessings already present in my life. A practical tip that's helped me is keeping a gratitude journal. Writing down 3 things each day that I'm thankful for has been transformative. It doesn't always have to be grand. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee or a good conversation with a friend. This practice has anchored me in the present, allowing me to carry a piece of contentment into all areas of my life. Expressing appreciation for life's blessings. From a young age, I was taught to see the world through a lens of gratitude. My grandmother would often remind me that every gift, no matter how small, is worth appreciating. She used to say that life's treasures are often hidden in the mundane moments, and it wasn't until much later that I truly grasped the wisdom behind her words. Whether it was a spontaneous hug from a friend, the warmth of the morning sun, or simply the laughter shared over a family dinner, these everyday experiences became an essential part of my gratitude practice. By recognizing and being thankful for these small blessings, I began to cultivate a deeper appreciation for the life I was living. This practice wasn't merely about saying thank you. It was about feeling a profound sense of gratitude for the opportunities and experiences that shaped my journey. As I grew older, I found that acknowledging and celebrating the abundance in my life required a conscious effort. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget to pause and appreciate our surroundings. I started keeping a gratitude journal, where every night before bed, I would jot down 3 things I was thankful for that day. This simple habit transformed my perspective. On days when life felt overwhelming or mundane, my journal entries served as a reminder of the goodness that persisted. I began to see beauty in unexpected places, the vibrant colors of a sunset, the kindness of strangers, or the sense of accomplishment after a day's hard work. Celebrating these moments made me realize that abundance isn't just about material wealth, it's about the richness of experiences and the connections we foster. There have been countless times in my life when I felt lost or disconnected. During these moments, reflecting on my blessings became a source of grounding and solace. I remember a particularly challenging period in my early 20s when I was struggling with my career path. My mentor introduced me to the practice of mindful gratitude. Together, we would meditate and focus on the present moment, acknowledging the multitude of blessings we often overlook. This practice not only helped me find peace, but also guided me toward clarity and purpose. Through mindfulness and gratitude, I learned to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience, recognizing that even in adversity, there are lessons and opportunities to be thankful for. Understanding the transformative power of gratitude. When I was a child, I would often find myself lost in the woods behind my grandparents' house. Surrounded by towering trees and the gentle rustle of leaves, I discovered an innate sense of peace and connection to the world around me. This early exposure to nature instilled in me a sense of gratitude for the small wonders of life, a feeling that has transformed my approach to well-being as an adult. Practicing gratitude has the remarkable ability to shift our mindset from one of scarcity and complaint to one of abundance and appreciation, fostering a profound sense of inner peace and mental clarity. The simple act of acknowledging the positive aspects of life, no matter how minute, can alter our brain chemistry. It's fascinating from a psychological standpoint. Gratitude prompts the release of dopamine and serotonin, the neurotransmitters responsible for happiness. When I embraced a daily gratitude practice, I noticed not only a reduction in stress, but also an increase in overall happiness and life satisfaction. This shift in mindset makes it possible to navigate life's challenges with a sense of resilience and optimism. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we nurture a more balanced and positive outlook on life. Gratitude, when harnessed mindfully, can cultivate lasting contentment and fulfillment. Reflecting on the blessings, big and small, can ground us in the present moment, something so many of us often overlook in our busy lives. I found that writing in a gratitude journal each night allowed me to end my day on a positive note, imprinting my subconscious with affirmations of abundance rather than worries or regrets. It has been a spiritual practice that transcends mere positivity, embedding itself into the fabric of my daily existence and bringing me a deeper sense of contentment. By prioritizing gratitude, I've unlocked a wellspring of joy that permeates every aspect of my life. Understanding the transformative power of gratitude means recognizing its multifaceted impact on our lives. Embracing gratitude doesn't just enhance our mood temporarily, but also builds a sustainable foundation for long-term emotional and spiritual well-being. As we continue on this journey, let us all make room in our hearts for gratitude, allowing it to guide us towards a richer and more fulfilling existence. Chapter 9. Cultivating Inner Peace. Creating a sacred space for inner peace. Growing up, I often found solace in a small corner of my childhood home. This space, filled with the warm glow of natural light and the soothing sound of hummingbirds outside the window, became my personal sanctuary. It was here that I learned the importance of having a dedicated space where one can retreat from the hustle and chaos of daily life. Now, as an adult, I've realized that creating and nurturing a physical and mental space that promotes inner peace and tranquility is not just about having a specific corner in your house. It is about intentionally designing an environment that reflects your innermost needs and inspires a sense of calm. To start, consider what elements make you feel most at peace. It could be the soft hum of nature sounds, the sight of your favorite books neatly arranged, or even the subtle scent of lavender. Personally, I find that surrounding myself with things that hold personal significance or have positive associations helps cultivate a sense of tranquility. This might mean incorporating family heirlooms, cherished photographs, or even creating a small altar with objects that remind you of your spiritual journey. Setting aside time to declutter and organize this space regularly can also contribute significantly to your mental well-being. Creating a sanctuary within yourself is equally important. Growing up, my grandmother often spoke of an inner temple where one could retreat to in moments of turmoil. It wasn't until I started exploring spirituality that I truly understood the wisdom in her words. This inner sanctuary isn't a physical place, but rather a mental haven formed through practices like meditation, mindfulness, and reflective journaling. For instance, I find that taking a few minutes each day to meditate, allowing my thoughts to settle, creates a profound peace that I can carry with me throughout the day. Journaling, another invaluable tool, helps me sift through the mental clutter and connect with my deeper self. It's during these quiet moments of introspection that I often find clarity and insight about challenges I'm facing. For those struggling with finding this inner peace, I encourage you to start small. Even a few deep breaths or a moment of silence can begin to build this sacred mental space where you can retreat anytime, anywhere. Incorporating elements of psychology can further enhance this journey. Understanding the mind's workings, especially through practices like cognitive behavioral therapy, can help identify and reframe thought patterns that disrupt your peace. By recognizing triggers and learning to approach them with compassion and mindfulness, you can transform your inner sanctuary into an unshakable fortress of tranquility. Remember, the goal is to create a space, both physical and mental, that provides refuge and renewal. Start by identifying elements that bring you joy and slowly integrate them into your daily routines. Trust that, over time, these small changes will cultivate a profound sense of inner peace and well-being. Finding harmony amidst chaos. From a very young age, I remember being fascinated by the idea of calmness. Growing up in a bustling city, the constant hum of life around me often felt overwhelming. I would find pockets of peace in the most unexpected places: the quiet corner of a school library, the gentle rustling of leaves in a nearby park, or even the calm morning moments before the city truly woke up. These experiences planted the seeds of my lifelong journey towards understanding and maintaining inner calm in the midst of external chaos. Over the years, I realized that the first step in achieving this peace started from within. I learned that developing inner practices and strategies was essential to navigate the noisy, hectic world outside. For instance, daily meditations became my sanctuary. They were moments where I could retreat into myself, recharge, and come back into the world with a clearer mind. I explored breathing techniques, such as the simple yet powerful method of focusing on one's breath to anchor oneself in the present moment. This practice was incredibly grounding, helping me to remain centered amidst the seeming storm of life. Discovering the power of resilience and adaptability played a crucial role in fostering inner peace. During my teenage years, I faced numerous challenges that tested my mental and emotional thresholds. There were times when it felt like the universe conspired against me, bringing wave after wave of difficulties. However, reflecting on these experiences much later, I realized that every challenge was an opportunity in disguise, shaping my resilience and teaching me the art of adaptability. One important lesson was understanding that resistance to change often heightened my anxieties. Instead, by embracing change, I became more flexible and open. This adaptability carried a certain grace with it, allowing me to navigate life's turbulence without losing my sense of self. Developing resilience wasn't just about enduring challenges, but learning and growing from them, emerging stronger and more empowered. In my early 20s, I delved deeper into spirituality, seeking wisdom beyond the traditional avenues of learning I had grown accustomed to. Reading spiritual texts and engaging in conversations with mentors grounded in ancient wisdom offered profound insights. I discovered patterns of thinking that aligned closely with psychological principles, reinforcing the idea that the mind and soul were deeply interconnected. One guiding principle I embraced was the understanding that peace is not the absence of chaos, but the presence of tranquility within it. This profound realization was a turning point in my journey. It shifted my focus from trying to control external circumstances to nurturing a serene inner world. Essentially, finding harmony amidst the chaos is about cultivating an unshakable inner peace, regardless of the outer turmoil. Letting go of negativity and embracing tranquility. Growing up, I often found myself tangled in a web of negative thoughts and emotions. I remember being consumed by worries, fears, and doubts that seemed to echo louder during quiet moments. In school, I was tormented by the fear of failure and the need for acceptance. These experiences stayed with me, gnawing away at my peace of mind well into adulthood. It was only through my journey into spirituality that I learned the importance of releasing these heavy burdens. Releasing negative thoughts and emotions is akin to freeing a bird from a cage. Imagine holding on to anger, resentment, or regret. These feelings don't just occupy space in your mind, they erode your inner peace and tranquility. What I've come to learn through my spiritual practices is that holding on to negativity is like drinking poison and expecting it to harm someone else. It's a lesson I learned the hard way, but it was transformative. One powerful technique I discovered is mindfulness meditation. By focusing on my breath and observing my thoughts without judgment, I began to see my negative emotions for what they were, temporary states of mind that didn't define me. This perspective shift was crucial. Additionally, incorporating practices like gratitude journaling helped me refocus on positive experiences and the abundance in my life, rather than dwelling on what went wrong. Moving from childhood to adulthood, from torment to tranquility, the journey also involved another key element: acceptance and surrender. These concepts initially seemed counterintuitive. How could yielding lead to peace? But as I delved deeper, I realized that acceptance doesn't mean passive resignation, but rather a profound acknowledgement of what is. It's about understanding that certain things are beyond our control, and that fighting against this reality only perpetuates suffering. Remember a time when you tried to control every aspect of a situation, whether it was a relationship, job, or even a personal goal, and faced immense stress and frustration? I experienced this countless times. It was when I started to practice acceptance that I noticed a significant shift. By recognizing the limits of my control and surrendering to the flow of life, I found a serene space within myself that remained untouched by the chaos around me. Surrender, in this sense, is not giving up but finding peace within uncertainty. It's understanding that life is full of unpredictable events, and our power lies in how we respond to them. For me, this mental shift came through the wisdom found in spiritual teachings and psychological practices like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which teaches the reframing of thoughts and acceptance-based strategies. Cultivating a sense of inner tranquility begins with small steps, practicing mindfulness, releasing negativity, and embracing acceptance. These practices combined form a path that leads to lasting peace. Each day offers a new opportunity to let go of what weighs us down and to invite serenity into our lives. So, let us embark on this journey, nurturing our spirits and minds towards a life of tranquility. When you find yourself caught up in the whirlwind of life, take a deep breath, pause, and remember to let go and surrender. Chapter 10. The Power of Forgiveness. Understanding the liberating nature of forgiveness. From early childhood, I've been acutely aware of the burdens that grudges can place on one's heart. Growing up in a tightly knit community, I witnessed firsthand how unresolved conflicts could simmer for years, casting a shadow over every interaction. These experiences left an indelible mark on my psyche, making me realize that holding on to anger and resentment was akin to drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. The emotional chains of unforgiveness bind us in ways we often fail to see, but when we choose to forgive, we unlock a freedom that is both emotional and spiritual. Understanding and embracing forgiveness has been a transformative journey, deeply intertwined with my spiritual development. It has revealed a deeper wisdom, that forgiveness is not about condoning the wrongs done to us, but about setting ourselves free from the pain tied to those experiences. It's a powerful shift in perspective that allows us to reclaim our emotional and spiritual well-being. Embracing this truth has not only healed old wounds, but also opened my heart to greater compassion and understanding. It taught me that forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves, a path towards inner peace and self-liberation. The transformative effects of forgiveness on personal growth and healing are profound. When I chose to forgive those who had wronged me, it felt as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. Suddenly, my mind was no longer clouded by past hurts and injustices. I could focus on the present moment with clarity and purpose. Forgiveness fostered a sense of inner calm and resilience, enabling me to grow emotionally and spiritually. It allowed me to move forward with a more compassionate and open heart, embracing the fullness of life's experiences without the haunting shadows of past grievances. Incorporating the principles of forgiveness into our daily lives brings us closer to true emotional and spiritual freedom. For me, it involved daily reflections and mindfulness practices aimed at releasing grudges and fostering a deeper connection with my inner self. Each small act of letting go, from minor irritations to significant past wrongs, contributed to a profound sense of liberation. Consider setting aside moments each day to reflect on any lingering resentments and practice releasing them. It could be through meditation, journaling, or simply acknowledging the hurt and choosing to let it go. This practice not only nurtures personal growth, but also strengthens our ability to love and connect with others on a more profound level. Healing through the act of forgiveness. Practicing forgiveness is a deeply transformative process. As a child, I remember holding on to the hurtful words of a friend who betrayed my trust. It felt like a weight resting on my young shoulders, making everyday interactions a challenge. But over time, I learned that carrying that burden only intensified my pain. Slowly, I started practicing forgiveness, initially out of a desire to just feel lighter. What surprised me was how this act of letting go of anger and resentment began to heal emotional wounds I didn't even know I had. Each time I forgave, I could feel pieces of my heart being stitched back together, fostering a sense of inner peace that was unfamiliar yet extraordinarily calming. As I journeyed through adulthood, I realized forgiving oneself is perhaps the most challenging yet vital step towards personal liberation. I once held on to guilt for a mistake I made in my early 20s, an action that I believed defined my worth. This shadow haunted me until I embraced the idea that forgiveness isn't just about others, it's a gift we owe ourselves. Learning to release the guilt was a transformative experience. It felt like breaking free from invisible chains that had confined me, allowing me to step forward with renewed confidence and a sense of growth. It's about accepting our imperfect humanity and deciding to move forward despite our flaws, knowing our mistakes don't define us, but our response to them does. Understand that forgiveness is not about condoning wrong actions, but rather about reclaiming your power. A mentor once told me that holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. This wisdom resonated deeply, and I started noticing the psychological impact of forgiveness. Every act of forgiveness became a step toward strengthening my mental resilience. With each episode of forgiveness, whether directed at myself or others, I found a little more peace, an added layer to my emotional armor, and a significant reduction in stress and anxiety. Releasing the burden of resentment and embracing compassion. Growing up, I remember my father telling me stories about the power of forgiveness. He would recount tales of great leaders who transcended their grievances to embrace compassion and understanding. As a child, these stories seemed like far-off dreams, something only special individuals could achieve. It wasn't until much later in life that I began to understand and experience the profound freedom that comes from letting go of grudges, resentments, and judgments. In our journey through life, we encounter situations that leave us feeling hurt, betrayed, or misunderstood. This pain, if left unchecked, grows into heavy burdens that weigh down our hearts and minds. I vividly recall my struggle during my teenage years, when a close friend's betrayal left me feeling deeply wounded. The anger and resentment I held on to consumed my thoughts, affecting my ability to trust others. It was not until I started practicing mindfulness and engaging in spiritual teachings that I started releasing these negative emotions. Releasing grudges requires an intentional decision to view situations and people through the lens of empathy. I found that adopting a heart-centered attitude of compassion transformed my inner world. This transformation began when I started questioning the stories I told myself about the experiences that hurt me. Instead of seeing myself solely as a victim, I attempted to understand the perspectives and circumstances of those who hurt me. This shift wasn't easy, but it brought an immense sense of peace. The more I embraced compassion for others and myself, the lighter my emotional load became. Understanding the power of compassion is essential for nurturing forgiveness and enriching our interpersonal relationships. When we approach others with an open heart, we not only heal ourselves, but also create a space for deeper connection and understanding. Studies in psychology have shown that practicing compassion leads to increased happiness and well-being. Cultivating this virtue transforms not only our relationships, but also our entire outlook on life. My journey towards compassion and forgiveness was not linear. There were moments of backslides into old resentments. But each time, the practice of compassion offered a way back to inner peace. For instance, revisiting my teenage hurt from a place of understanding helped me reconnect with my old friend on a profound level, repairing a relationship I never thought could be mended. It taught me that true strength lies in our ability to be vulnerable and extend kindness even when it feels undeserved. If there is one practical step to begin this journey, it's to start small. Practice gratitude regularly, focusing on the positives in your relationships. Mindfulness meditation can also help in recognizing and letting go of negative emotions as they arise. Picture the people you hold grudges against and imagine sending them compassion and kindness. These simple acts can gradually change the way you perceive and interact with the world, lifting the heavy burden of resentment and making room for love and understanding. Chapter 11. Living with Intention. Setting soulful intentions for life. Growing up, I found myself drawn to the stories whispered by the elders around campfires and the tales narrated during family gatherings. These narratives, imbued with traditions and wisdom, left a deep impression on my young mind. It wasn't until much later that I realized how these stories subtly nudged me towards recognizing my deepest desires, values, and spiritual aspirations. Aligning one's actions and choices with these fundamental aspects requires a conscious, sometimes arduous effort. It involves peeling back the layers of societal expectations and familial obligations to uncover what genuinely resonates with our core. Looking back, I see how crucial it was for me to continuously reflect on my values and align my actions accordingly. It's akin to calibrating a compass. By consistently realigning to true north, I was able to make decisions that were authentic and fulfilling. This alignment serves as the very foundation upon which a purposeful and spiritually enriched life is built. Defining clear intentions is the next crucial step in this journey. I remember the power of the stories that featured characters with resolute intentions, whose determination and clarity of purpose led them to their goals. To channel this in my own life, I began setting intentions that were in harmony with my values and desires. Initially, my goals were broad and somewhat vague, but over time, they became more focused and specific. For instance, instead of a general aspiration to be happy, I started targeting particular areas, such as nurturing relationships or pursuing knowledge. These clear intentions acted as my guiding stars, helping me navigate through life's complexities and uncertainties. I came to understand that the clarity of one's intentions not only steers the course of our actions, but also shapes our perceptions and responses to life's myriad situations. By continually revisiting and refining my intentions, I found myself steadily moving towards a life that felt deeply purposeful and enriching. One insightful lesson that emerged from these practices is the importance of mindful presence. One can easily drift through life without this conscious alignment, but it is through moments of reflection and mindfulness that the significance of our choices becomes vivid. Spirituality, often viewed as an abstract or separate realm, is intrinsically connected to our everyday actions and decisions. Integrating spiritual aspirations into our daily lives requires not grand gestures, but rather small, consistent acts that reflect our core values. For instance, practicing gratitude, being kind, and staying true to one's word can be powerful acts of aligning with one's spiritual aspirations. I found that these practices created a ripple effect, impacting not only my inner state but also the world around me. Wisdom from psychology suggests that when our actions are coherent with our values and desires, we experience a profound sense of well-being and fulfillment. This alignment transforms mere existence into a rich tapestry of meaningful experiences. To practically apply these insights, start by reflecting on your core values and spiritual aspirations. Write them down and frequently revisit them. Secondly, set clear and specific intentions that align with these values. Remember, intentions should be concrete enough to provide direction, but flexible enough to evolve with you. Finally, incorporate small yet consistent acts in your daily life that reflect these values and intentions. This practice not only grounds your spiritual journey, but also paves the way for a genuinely fulfilling life. Aligning actions with inner values. Growing up, I always felt a deep sense of curiosity about my place in the world and the purpose of life. Questions about existence, purpose, and the essence of being were constant companions. My parents, though not overtly spiritual, encouraged introspection and a sense of wonder about the universe. These formative years planted the seeds of my spiritual journey. Over time, I began to understand that my actions and decisions should be in harmony with my core values to foster spiritual growth. For me, it was about finding alignment between what I believed in, what I intended, and how I acted. This harmony came with moments of trial and error, but each step brought invaluable wisdom and insight. As I matured, the importance of aligning my actions with my core values became more pronounced. Whenever I faced a moral dilemma or a decision requiring deep thought, I turned inward. I had to ask myself whether my actions were serving my spiritual growth or merely my ego. This continuous self-examination was not easy. It demanded honesty, patience, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths about myself. But through this process, I discovered the profound power of living authentically. It meant that my actions were not just random activities, but were deeply rooted in what I valued the most: integrity, kindness, and a commitment to my spiritual path. Examining the congruence between my beliefs, intentions, and actions required an ongoing dialogue with myself. Childhood experiences had given me a foundation, but true understanding came from daily practice. If I intended to live a life of compassion, could I see it in my actions towards others? If I believed in the value of honesty, was I consistently truthful in my interactions? This self-reflection was like holding up a mirror to my soul. Every action, no matter how small, needed to align with the spiritual principles I held dear. When there was congruence, I felt a sense of peace and clarity. When there wasn't, it was a signal to recalibrate and realign. This journey of alignment is ongoing and ever-evolving. One practical tip that has helped me significantly is journaling. Writing down my daily experiences, thoughts, and actions allows me to see patterns and identify areas where there might be a disconnect between my inner values and outer actions. It serves as a gentle reminder to stay true to what I believe in and to act in ways that nurture my spiritual growth. Manifesting positivity through intentional living. Harnessing the power of intention and focused energy to manifest positive outcomes in all areas of life has been a transformative practice for me. I remember back to my childhood, the moments when my parents emphasized the importance of setting clear intentions. They often reminded me that our thoughts shape our reality. My father used to sit me down and say, "Your mind is a garden. Plant flowers, not weeds." Those early lessons laid the foundation for my journey into spirituality and the realization that intention is a potent force. It goes beyond mere wishful thinking. It's about channeling energy in a deliberate way to create specific outcomes. During challenging times in school, I focused my intention on not just getting through but thriving. By visualizing success and directing my efforts, I noticed that opportunities seemed to align themselves in a manner that felt almost magical. This wasn't just coincidence or luck, it was the power of intentional living. Understanding that we could shape our experiences by focusing our energy set me on a path of continuous personal transformation. Using intentional living as a tool for personal transformation and spiritual evolution, I found myself drawn to various spiritual and psychological wisdoms. Books on mindfulness, meditation, and positive psychology became my companions. One of the pivotal moments in my personal journey was discovering the writings of Viktor Frankl, who emphasized finding meaning even in the direst circumstances. His insights resonated deeply with me, and I started applying similar principles in my life. Intentionally choosing thoughts, actions, and reactions to situations became a daily practice. This kind of living is not about never experiencing negative emotions, but rather about acknowledging them and transforming them into growth opportunities. It's about being present and making conscious choices that align with one's true self. With every intentional act, I felt a deepening connection to my spiritual core. Spiritual practices like meditation and journaling became tools to refine and focus my intentions, leading to profound inner shifts. The blend of psychology with intentional living further reinforced the impact of our mindset. Concepts from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, taught me how to reframe negative thoughts and harness positive ones intentionally. This wasn't just mental gymnastics. I observed tangible results in my relationships, career, and overall well-being. Consciously deciding to approach life with a mindset of gratitude, compassion, and positivity made a significant difference. For anyone beginning this journey, start small. Set daily intentions, whether it's to have a productive day at work, to be more patient with your loved ones, or to simply find joy in little things. Write them down and revisit them frequently. Reflect on the days when you achieved them and the days when you didn't. Learn and grow from both experiences. Remember, intentional living is a practice, not a destination. With each intentional act, we plant the seeds for a more positive, fulfilling existence. Chapter 12. Connection to Higher Consciousness. Seeking divine guidance in daily life. From a young age, my understanding of the divine was influenced by the stories my grandmother told me. Sitting by the fire while she shared tales of mystical encounters and divine interventions, I felt a connection that went beyond the material world. This sense of wonder and awe became a foundation on which I would later build a more intimate relationship with the divine, involving it in every facet of my life. As I grew older, I realized that cultivating this connection required more than just passive listening. It needed active engagement and conscious practice. I began to invite the divine into everyday moments, during my morning coffee, before critical meetings, and even in the quiet moments before sleep. The more I opened myself to this eternal presence, the more guided I felt. Whenever life presented challenges, I turned inward seeking higher wisdom. One of the moments that stands out vividly is a difficult career decision I faced. Instead of simply weighing the pros and cons or seeking advice solely from colleagues, I decided to meditate and pray for clarity. The wisdom that emerged from within during those moments of stillness often provided a level of insight that purely rational analysis could not. It was as if a higher consciousness was whispering the right path to me. Understanding and navigating life's complexities became less daunting when I began integrating spiritual wisdom into my decision-making processes. I noticed that dilemmas which once seemed unsolvable took a different shape when viewed through the lens of heightened awareness. This not only provided practical solutions, but also brought an element of peace and reassurance. Incorporating both spirituality and psychology, I found a balance. While I respected scientific approaches to understanding the human mind, I never neglected the soul's wisdom. This dual approach allowed me to navigate life's ups and downs more holistically. Not every answer is found in texts or external guidance. Sometimes, the deepest truths are revealed in moments of quiet introspection. To those seeking a deeper connection with the divine in their daily lives, start by creating small rituals that invite this presence. It could be as simple as a few moments of gratitude upon waking or a quiet prayer before making a significant decision. By regularly tuning into this higher guidance, you create a continuous dialogue that brings a sense of purpose and alignment to your everyday experiences. Experiencing moments of spiritual connection. Opening myself to transcendent experiences began in the simplicity of childhood. My earliest memories of feeling deeply connected often occurred during walks in the woods, the gentle rustling of leaves and the whisper of the wind creating a symphony that spoke to my soul. I was unknowingly fostering a profound connection with the natural world, which later evolved into a more structured spiritual practice. As I grew older, I started recognizing that these moments of clarity and connection were not random. They were signs and synchronicities, messages from a higher consciousness that wanted to engage with me. For instance, seeing repeated numbers, encountering the same person in different contexts, or feeling an inexplicable pull towards certain decisions. These were all hints that there was a deeper layer to reality than what was visible. Recognizing these signs requires a blend of awareness and openness. One must first believe in the possibility that the universe communicates in myriad ways, then learn to interpret these symbols without falling into the trap of overanalysis. It's like learning a new language, one that is less about words and more about feelings and experiences. This journey is deeply personal, often weaving together spiritual wisdom and psychological insights. The spiritual practice of meditation, for example, can help calm the mind and create the mental space needed to notice subtle synchronicities. Psychology teaches us the importance of mindfulness, anchoring us in the present moment where these divine signs are most easily perceived. A practical way to start noticing these moments is to keep a journal. Documenting instances of synchronicities and transcendent experiences can reveal patterns over time. Trust your intuition. If something feels significant, it probably is. These moments are like a spiritual fingerprint, unique to your journey, guiding you towards a deeper understanding of your place in the cosmos. Elevating consciousness through spiritual practices. As a child, my curiosity about life was boundless. I would often gaze at the stars, feeling a sense of awe and wonder. Little did I know then that these feelings were the seeds of my spiritual journey. Engaging in spiritual practices didn't come naturally at first. It required dedication, patience, and an open heart. One of the first practices that awakened my consciousness was meditation. Sitting quietly, focusing on my breath, and allowing my thoughts to pass without attachment was transformational. With each session, I felt a deeper connection to myself and the universe. It was as if layers of confusion and doubt were being peeled away, revealing a clear, calm center within me. Another practice that profoundly impacted me was the act of gratitude. It might sound simple, but taking time every day to acknowledge the blessings in my life shifted my perspective dramatically. Gratitude fostered a sense of abundance and joy, elevating my vibration and opening me up to even more positivity. This practice didn't just affect my mood, it transformed my entire outlook on life, making me more compassionate, understanding, and connected to the people around me. Exploring techniques and rituals that expand awareness became a passion. I delved into ancient wisdom, learning about practices like shamanic drumming and guided visualizations. These rituals allowed me to journey into higher realms of existence, where I encountered guides and gained profound insights. The drumbeat synchronized with my heartbeat, creating a rhythm that transported me to otherworldly landscapes. These experiences heightened my awareness and deepened my connection to the spiritual dimensions beyond our physical reality. In this journey, books became my companions. Reading about the lives and teachings of spiritual masters provided me with a wealth of wisdom. Their stories inspired me to adopt practices like mindful walking, which helped me remain present and fully engage with the world around me. Walking mindfully in nature, feeling each step and observing my surroundings, brought an immense sense of peace and oneness with the earth. It was as if I could feel the pulse of life itself, resonating within me. Practical psychology also played a role in my spiritual growth. Understanding the inner workings of the mind helped me navigate my thoughts and emotions more effectively. Learning about concepts like mindfulness and cognitive behavioral techniques enhanced my meditation practice and allowed me to observe my mental patterns without judgment. This self-awareness was essential in breaking free from limiting beliefs and habits that no longer served me. As I continue on this path, I find that integrating these practices into my daily life brings a sense of balance and harmony. Whether it's through meditation, gratitude, rituals, mindful walking, or psychological insights, each practice contributes to elevating my consciousness and deepening my connection to the higher realms. Remember, it's not about perfection, but about the journey and the willingness to explore and grow. Chapter 13. Inner Strength and Resilience. Tapping into the power of inner resilience. From a young age, we all face challenges that shape our character and teach us resilience. I remember growing up, dealing with the typical struggles of childhood, trying to fit in, handling school pressures, and navigating family dynamics. These experiences might seem trivial in hindsight, but they taught me early on about the strength we all harbor within. Resilience, as I see it, is the remarkable ability to bounce back from setbacks, and this ability is nurtured over time through our personal experiences and internal growth. As I delved into spirituality, I discovered how significant our inner resources are. Practices like meditation, prayer, and mindfulness became vital tools. They provided a refuge and helped me cultivate a sense of peace amidst the storms of life. Through these practices, I learned to connect with my inner self, a place of calm and strength that I could draw upon whenever I felt overwhelmed. The journey towards utilizing these inner resources isn't always straightforward. It involves patience, self-compassion, and an openness to exploring new pathways of healing. Interestingly, what I found most transformative was the realization that adversity isn't just something to be endured, but an opportunity to thrive. Embracing the challenges and finding meaning in them allowed me to grow in ways I hadn't imagined. It was through the toughest times that I found my greatest strengths and deepest wisdom. Psychological resilience isn't merely an innate trait, but a skill developed through conscious effort and spiritual practice. When everything seems to be falling apart, it's our inner resilience that empowers us to rise stronger than before, fostering an enduring spirit that can face life's uncertainties with hope and confidence. Finding strength in adversity. Growing up, I always admired the wisdom of my grandmother. She was a serene presence in our bustling household, an anchor amidst the chaos. When the days grew tough, she would sit me down and share stories from her past, tales of hardship and resilience. Although her childhood was riddled with difficulties, she always found a way to bring light into the darkness. Those stories were not just narratives of survival, but lessons in finding meaning in challenging circumstances. From an early age, I understood that difficult times were inevitable. Whether it was struggling with schoolwork, dealing with bullies, or navigating the turbulent waters of adolescence, each experience pushed me to search for my inner strength. Spirituality played an immense role in this journey. I found solace in prayer, meditation, and the quiet moments of reflection that connected me to something greater than myself. These practices were like a compass, guiding me through the fog of uncertainty. Psychology tells us that our mindset significantly influences how we handle adversity. Drawing upon the inner strength, we can reframe challenges as opportunities for growth. I remember a particularly tough time during my teenage years when I battled with self-doubt and anxiety. What helped me overcome these feelings was the shift in my thinking, viewing these struggles not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones to a stronger, more resilient self. The empowerment I found in those dark moments was transformative. Gradually, I learned to find meaning in adversity. I began to ask myself, what is this situation teaching me? How can I grow from this experience? These questions became a powerful tool in my psychological toolkit. Each answer brought me closer to understanding that within every challenge lies the potential for profound personal growth and wisdom. One practical tip I can offer from my journey is the power of journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings during tough times can be cathartic. Not only does it provide an outlet for emotions, but it also allows you to track your progress and see how far you've come. Reflecting on these entries later, you may discover patterns and insights that were not evident in the heat of the moment. Developing a resilient mindset through spirituality. Fostering a mindset of resilience often begins in the simple, everyday challenges we face. I remember from my own childhood how I struggled to cope with the smallest of setbacks. My parents always encouraged me to find strength within myself, a principle that would later form the foundation of my spiritual journey. The mindfulness taught by spiritual practices provided me with an inner sanctuary, a place to retreat and find solace amid life's turmoil. By embracing these practices, I found that resilience wasn't just about enduring hardships, but also about nurturing a mindset grounded in inner peace and strength. Embracing spiritual teachings was transformative for me. The wisdom from various teachings offered perspectives that helped reframe challenges as opportunities for growth. For instance, learning about the concept of impermanence in Buddhist philosophy made me see that even the darkest of times would eventually pass. This realization allowed me to face life's ups and downs with a sense of calmness and hope. Similarly, practicing gratitude and mindfulness created a mental space where I could observe my thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them. It's this blend of spirituality and practical wisdom that turned my mindset into one resilient enough to weather any storm. One useful tip I learned is to create a daily spiritual routine. Whether it's a few moments of meditation, a short prayer, or reading a passage from a spiritual text, these practices serve as anchors throughout the day, ensuring that no matter what happens, there is always a moment of inner peace to return to. This consistent practice gradually builds a solid foundation of resilience, one day at a time. Chapter 14. Balancing the Mind, Body, and Spirit. Honoring the holistic nature of well-being. Understanding that the mind, body, and spirit are deeply connected is key to achieving true well-being. I remember as a child, spending summer afternoons lying in the grass, staring up at the sky. There was an inexplicable sense of peace that came from those moments, a harmony between my thoughts, my emotions, and the world around me. It wasn't until much later that I realized these moments were an early experience of holistic well-being. As adults, it's easy to compartmentalize our lives, treating the mind, body, and spirit as separate entities. However, to truly thrive, we must recognize and honor their interconnectedness. In my journey towards holistic well-being, I've embraced practices that nurture not just one aspect of myself, but all. Meditation has been a cornerstone, allowing me to quiet my mind and connect with my inner wisdom. Physical exercise, too, from yoga to hiking, has become a sacred ritual, grounding me in my body and invigorating my spirit. Even simple acts like journaling help me process my emotions and align my thoughts. By integrating these practices, I've found a balanced and richer sense of health that encompasses more than just the physical or the mental. They create a synergy that lifts every part of my being. One of the greatest lessons I've learned is that well-being isn't a destination, but a dynamic and evolving process. Incorporating wisdom from various spiritual traditions and psychological insights has been invaluable. For instance, the mindfulness techniques rooted in Buddhism have taught me to live more fully in the present moment. Additionally, exploring the principles of positive psychology has helped me foster a resilient and optimistic mindset. This holistic approach doesn't just prevent illness, it cultivates a life of joy, purpose, and inner peace. Integrating spiritual practices into daily life. From the moment I wake up in the morning, the day begins with a sense of intention rooted in spiritual practice. As a child, my grandmother taught me to start each day with a moment of reflection and gratitude. She called it planting seeds in the garden of your mind. Each day began with a simple prayer or words of thanks, and although it felt routine back then, it laid the groundwork for a daily ritual that now, as an adult, fosters a deep sense of wholeness and balance. I incorporate various spiritual practices into my routine, drawing upon wisdom from different traditions. Meditation is one such practice that anchors me. A few minutes of quiet meditation in the morning helps center my thoughts and prepares me to face the day's challenges with a sense of calm and clarity. Visualization techniques, often involving imagining a protective light surrounding me, provide a sense of safety and comfort that stays with me throughout the day. One simple but powerful practice is mindful breathing. My psychology studies pointed out how awareness of the breath can influence our emotional state. Whenever stress or anxiety creeps in, focusing on my breath for a few minutes helps me realign with a state of inner peace. It's fascinating how something as mundane as breathing becomes a bridge to a deeper connection with myself and, by extension, with the universe. Finding harmony between what might appear to be the spiritual and mundane aspects of life is crucial. Throughout childhood, spirituality was woven into the fabric of daily activities. Simple chores became opportunities to practice mindfulness. As I swept the floors, my mind often reflected on the concept of cleaning the mind, removing unnecessary clutter and creating space for positive thoughts. This practice of finding the sacred in the ordinary has continued into adulthood, where activities like washing dishes or tending to the garden become meditative exercises. In my career, integrating spirituality means embracing work not merely as a means to an end, but as a form of self-expression and service. Whether engaging in meetings, writing reports, or interacting with colleagues, I strive to infuse each action with presence and care. This approach not only enriches my experience, but often transforms interactions, allowing for more genuine connections and a harmonious work environment. In the evenings, I wind down with rituals that help bridge the transition between day and night. Lighting a candle or incense, accompanied by a moment of prayer or reflection, signals to my mind and body that it is time to release the day's tensions and invite rest and rejuvenation. Journaling is another profound practice where I reflect on the day's events, noting any significant insights and expressing gratitude for the experiences, no matter how small they may seem. These practices create a sense of closure and set a positive tone for the next day. Incorporating these spiritual practices into daily life is not about adding more tasks to an already packed schedule, but about weaving intention and mindfulness into what we already do. It's about recognizing that every moment carries the potential for spiritual growth and connection, allowing us to experience life in its fullest, most beautiful form. Nurturing a balanced and harmonious existence. Cultivating practices that promote balance, harmony, and well-being across all dimensions of my life has become a cornerstone of my spiritual journey. Growing up, I often found myself caught in the whirlwind of societal demands and expectations, unaware of the delicate balance that life requires. It wasn't until I experienced a series of burnouts that I began to understand the importance of integrating holistic practices into my daily routine. I remember the chaos of school days, where academic pressures and extracurricular activities left little room for self-reflection. Those early experiences taught me the necessity of creating space for daily rituals that foster inner peace. As I delved deeper into spirituality, I discovered the profound impact of mindfulness and meditation. These practices allowed me to connect with my inner self, striking a balance between my external responsibilities and internal needs. Incorporating mindful breathing exercises into my morning routine transformed the way I approached each day. It wasn't merely about ticking off tasks, but about being present in each moment. Yoga became another vital practice, providing both physical strength and mental clarity. The synergy of movement and breath in yoga acts as a bridge, bringing harmony to my body, mind, and spirit. Honoring the need for self-care, self-reflection, and self-compassion became evident during my journey toward a balanced existence. There were times when self-criticism overshadowed self-kindness, making it challenging to appreciate my own efforts. Incorporating self-compassion into my daily practice involved gentle reminders that it was okay to pause, reflect, and nurture my well-being. Journaling became a trusted companion, offering a safe space to explore my thoughts and emotions. This practice of self-reflection helped me recognize patterns and triggers, enabling me to make conscious choices that aligned with my spiritual goals. Self-care, often dismissed as indulgent, revealed itself as essential for maintaining balance. Simple acts like taking a nature walk or enjoying a quiet cup of tea fostered a sense of tranquility. These moments of intentional disconnection from external distractions allowed me to recharge and realign with my inner self. Embracing self-compassion meant treating myself with the same kindness I offered others. Recognizing my imperfections, and understanding that mistakes are part of the human experience, became liberating. This shift in perspective not only enhanced my personal well-being, but also deepened my empathy and connections with others. Nurturing a balanced and harmonious existence is an ongoing journey, a dance between external demands and internal needs. By integrating practices that promote well-being across all dimensions of my life, I found a path to inner peace and fulfillment. Whether it's through mindfulness, yoga, or self-compassion, each step taken with intentionality brings us closer to a state of balance. Remember, life's journey is not a sprint but a marathon, and nurturing oneself along the way is not a luxury but a necessity. Chapter 15. Embracing the Unknown. Letting go of the fear of uncertainty. From a young age, we're often conditioned to fear the unknown. I remember countless times as a child when I hesitated to venture into dark rooms or explore unfamiliar places. My parents, in trying to protect me, insisted on caution. While their intentions were good, this approach inadvertently instilled a sense of dread towards anything I couldn't see, touch, or predict. This early conditioning created a subconscious resistance to uncertainty, one that persisted into adulthood. Much later, as I delved deeper into spirituality, I pondered this ingrained fear. Why do we, as humans, instinctively recoil from what we do not know? Psychology suggests that this fear is a survival mechanism, a byproduct of our ancestors' need to avoid danger in an unpredictable world. But in today's context, where threats are not as immediate, this fear often limits our growth and exploration. The real turning point for me was an encounter with a wise mentor. During a particularly challenging phase in my life, I expressed my anxieties about an uncertain future. She looked at me, her eyes calm and deeply knowing, and said, "Uncertainty is life's invitation to step beyond the familiar." Those words resonated deeply. I realized that each bout of uncertainty is not a threat but a gateway, a passage to new experiences, learning, and expansion that I previously shied away from. From that moment, I started practicing letting go of the fear of uncertainty. It wasn't easy at first. Old habits and fears clung stubbornly. But with every small step into the unknown, I discovered something invaluable: resilience, adaptability, and a profound sense of freedom. Embracing uncertainty became less about seeking definitive answers and more about remaining open to possibilities, trusting that each step forward, no matter how tentative, would lead me closer to growth. On a more practical level, I found that mindfulness techniques helped immensely. By staying present, I could better manage the anxieties that arose from thinking too far ahead or dwelling on past uncertainties. Visualization exercises, where I imagined myself navigating unknown scenarios successfully, also helped rebuild my confidence. Over time, the grip of fear loosened, replaced by curiosity and eagerness for what lay ahead. For those on a similar journey, consider this: each moment of uncertainty is an opportunity to rewrite your narrative. Allow it to be the soil in which your courage, wisdom, and spirit of adventure take root and flourish. By confronting and embracing the unknown, we open ourselves to a life rich with experiences we might have otherwise missed. Trusting in the universe's plan. As a child, I was always fascinated by the night sky. I would lie on the grass, watching the stars, feeling a powerful connection to something much larger than myself. This early sense of wonder planted the seeds of my spiritual journey. I often found myself pondering questions like, how do the stars stay in place? And is there a reason for everything that happens? Over time, these musings grew into a deeper belief in a universe that is wise and guiding. One of the most significant lessons I've learned is that the universe holds a wisdom far beyond our understanding. Trusting in this wisdom has been both liberating and challenging. It's like when I was learning to ride a bike. My father would let go, and I'd wobble, but somehow, I always found my balance. Similarly, trusting the universe means letting go and finding balance, even when life's path seems uncertain. Surrendering control doesn't come naturally to many of us. We're wired to plan, manage, and anticipate. However, embracing the unfolding of life's divine plan can be profoundly transformative. I remember a time when I was anxious about my future, career, relationships, and personal growth. The more I tried to control every aspect, the more frustrated and out of sync I felt. It was during a particularly overwhelming period that I decided to practice surrender. Instead of fighting against the currents, I chose to trust that the universe had a grander design for me. Practicing this form of surrender has been an ongoing process, much like tuning into a radio frequency. At first, they're static, but with patience, the signal becomes clear. What helps me is daily meditation and mindfulness practices. These moments of stillness allow me to connect with my inner self, listen to the subtle cues, and recognize the signs that the universe sends my way. Interestingly, psychology reinforces this approach. The concept of flow in positive psychology, where one fully immerses in the present, aligns with the idea of surrendering to the present moment and trusting the process. One practical tip I'd like to share is the power of affirmations. Whenever doubts creep in, I remind myself, I am exactly where I need to be, and the universe is unfolding as it should. These affirmations anchor me, reinforcing my belief in the inherent wisdom of the universe and helping me embrace the flow of life. Embracing the beauty of life's mysteries. From a young age, I've been captivated by life's unanswerable questions. The stars in the night sky, vast and mysterious, seemed like a canvas painted with dreams and the unknown. These moments, standing under a blanket of endless darkness, filled me with a profound sense of wonder and awe. There was something magical about not knowing and yet feeling a deep connection to everything around me. I began to realize that the mysteries of life are not just puzzles to solve, but experiences to be cherished. Growing up, I often tried to rationalize everything. I wanted answers, to make sense of everything from the sadness of a friend to the death of a pet. But some things defy logic and explanation. It was during these times that I found beauty in the inexplicable. Spirituality played a significant role in this realization. Rather than seeking hard evidence or scientific explanations, I allowed myself to lean into the mysteries, finding solace in the idea that not everything needs to be understood. This shift in perspective opened my heart to experiences I might have otherwise dismissed or overlooked. Opening myself up to the unknown has brought an immeasurable amount of magic and beauty into my life. When I stopped demanding logical explanations, I found that I could better appreciate the moments of synchronicity that seemed too perfect to be mere coincidence. Whether it's stumbling upon a message that speaks directly to something I'm struggling with, or feeling an inexplicable connection to a stranger, these experiences enrich my life in ways that logic never could. Allowing myself to believe in something greater than just what can be seen has deepened my spiritual journey and has provided peace in times when rational answers fail to satisfy my soul. As I navigate through life, embracing curiosity without the need for concrete answers has led me to a greater appreciation of life's intricate tapestry. There's a unique wisdom in recognizing that life's beauty sometimes lies in its ambiguity. Each mystery, each unanswered question, serves as a reminder that life is a journey, one that is not meant to be fully deciphered, but to be experienced and cherished. So the next time you find yourself puzzled or yearning for answers, remember that it's okay to let some mysteries remain mysteries. There's profound beauty and wisdom in simply allowing them to be. As we come to the end of The Essence of the Soul, a journey through spiritual awakening and personal transformation, I want to thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this profound journey. Throughout our time together, we have delved into the depths of spirituality, explored the wisdom of ancient teachings, and embraced the transformative power of self-discovery. We have navigated the intricate connection between mind, body, and spirit, and uncovered the healing potential of forgiveness, gratitude, and inner peace. This journey is not a destination, but an ongoing process. The insights and practices we have explored are tools to help you continue your path towards spiritual enlightenment and personal growth. Remember, the essence of the soul is ever evolving, and each moment offers a new opportunity for awakening and transformation. As you move forward, I encourage you to keep nurturing your inner child, embracing life's mysteries, and cultivating a resilient and compassionate heart. Continue to set soulful intentions, align your actions with your deepest values, and seek the divine guidance that resides within you. Your journey is uniquely yours, and it is my hope that this audiobook has provided you with the inspiration and wisdom to navigate it with grace and purpose. Embrace the essence of your soul, live with intention, and let your inner light shine brightly. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May your path be filled with love, peace, and profound spiritual discovery. Until we meet again, take care and keep exploring the beautiful essence of your soul. Farewell.